delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam AutoSpot, where the savings never stop.
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.
It's me, Wednesday Addams. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. Normally I'd be against this type of capitalistic corporate synergy. But when the other pigtailed provocateur said I could concoct my own Frosty, I melted. My meal is tribute to the suffering that awaits us all. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
Dare to try? Something new? Life's too short!
You gotta chill with the snackable drink.
Life is too short. Hey, you gotta chill.
Mogu mogu.
Moku moku! Kandit News is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
Good evening, my dear friends. Let me try to figure out. Sorry, there's something going on with the camera here. My name is Troy Torres. Thank you so much for joining me. It is 8:27 p.m. on Thursday, September 18, 2025. I don't know why I am, what do you call it? Hold on, I don't know why I'm frozen, but let me just restart this camera here. Stand by to that one. Okay, it's restarting. Hi, Sister Jen. Hi, Leah Duenas. Good evening to everybody who's joining me live. There, the camera's back up again. And those of you who will be watching the replay. Hi, Auntie Lonnie. I love you very much. Your puppies are very fat and they're very healthy, and I'm praying for them every day, all day, that they do well. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate your time. Over the past several weeks, we've been treated by our politicians to their every so often back and forth. They're jockeying, their, I don't know what you want to call it, their Olympic Games. It's one of their favorite sports, and it is who can blame all the problems of Guam Memorial Hospital on the other, and who can provide the solutions and take credit for everything and save the day. And it's sort of like something that's been on repeat for decades now, at least since, in my recollection, since the Gutierrez administration. Problems over at GMH, and these are the same problems, and it always comes down to money management. There's a whole bunch of different things, and so over the past couple of weeks, I've been lamenting about how we need a new hospital. We need to repair certain things in the current hospital. We need to improve certain things in the current hospital in order for it to last until this new hospital is built. And all of these things take money, right? And the legislature historically has never really provided the funding. And I'm not talking about just this legislature. I'm talking about several legislatures of the past, whether they be run by Democrats or Republicans, and whether the governor is a Republican or a Democrat. And something has to be said about, for as much as I give Governor Lulian Guerrero credit on certain things, this is not going to be one of them. Because her entire thing has been, I'm a nurse, I'm the person who can do all this stuff for healthcare. The hospital is my number one priority. The governor has made no secret of what her number one priority has been in this administration, and it's been the hospital. It's been healthcare. Why don't we yet have universal health coverage, or at least a roadmap to universal health coverage, which was something that she promised back when she was running for governor back in 2018? I think we know the answer to why we don't have a new hospital yet, but we are getting close, and it has less to do with the governor. The governor worked really hard on that, and to her credit, whatever movement is happening with this new hospital, that credit belongs to Governor Lulian Guerrero, and the blame belongs to both Democrats and Republicans in the legislature. But then there's the issue of the current hospital, and why is the current hospital in the situation that it's in? And you can't turn a blind eye to this. You can't say that Governor Lulian Guerrero has really tried. It's under her. She's the governor. She's the one who made the hospital and healthcare her number one priority. But it's not really showing now, is it? Because we're back at this point, at a point that we've seen over the years, over several administrations, or through several legislatures, the same song and dance about, the Guam Memorial Hospital needs money. Is Guam Memorial Hospital spending the money right? And then we go through these oversight hearings, then we have all these inquiries and these probes, and the same questions are asked, and the budget people and the hospital people evade all they can. They just don't want to be blamed. Or they're trying to hide something. This has been and it's not just this administration, it's previous administrations, it's previous legislatures. It happens all the time. And so in the monotony of this insanity that has been the past few weeks, where we remember this stuff, those of us who've been paying attention long enough, those of us who've been around long enough to realize that this is the same thing over and over and over, as we're going through this monotony of insanity, comes a voice of reason. So remember, we were talking over the past couple of weeks, whenever we've brought this up on Kandit, on these video editorials, that there's the funding issues, there's the new hospital, there's the current hospital, there's all the funding issues, and then there's everything in between. And when we say everything in between, we're talking about a host of solutions that are needed in order to truly bring about systemic change that is positive for medical care in our public hospital, whether it's in the current hospital or transitioning over to the new hospital. And, one of the things that we talk about all the time is needing to be addressed is medical malpractice, and also being able to hold public doctors, public nurses, people who work at Guam Memorial Hospital, accountable for the negligent actions that they take, the malpractice that's committed over at Guam Memorial Hospital. The other issue is the licensing board, all the licensing boards, and how things are dealt with on those licensing boards. Then there's the peer review process over at Guam Memorial Hospital. There are so many different things to take into consideration when we're talking about the improvement of medical care, that it isn't just this, it's not simply about funding. It's not simply about, we got to build this hospital. We got to improve the current hospital. It's all this stuff that's in between. And over the past couple of weeks, we haven't really heard senators, the governor, the administration, the hospital, even the medical community talking about these things. and in comes Senator Therese Terlaje. And she writes a letter to the people of Guam, and she reminds all of us that just a few months ago, she had a bill to address one of these problem areas that together as an entirety, we need this part of the pie to be resolved as well as we need the others. And it's about the management of Guam Memorial Hospital. And she says in her open letter to the people of Guam that she released today, she says, hey, look, I introduced this solution a few months ago. It failed by one vote. You guys didn't want it by one vote. But I mean, look at everything that's happening now. And I'm just trying to provide a solution to help with, to contribute to the solutions that are needed so that our people can have a hospital and can have confidence that this government's doing something to improve medical care at our only public hospital. And so out from this furious fire of the burning Guam Memorial Hospital, and quite literally, we've seen examples of a burning Guam Memorial Hospital, rises this phoenix from the political discussion. And it is in the form of Therese Terlaje's reason and rationale to the people of Guam. She's going over her 14 colleagues, and she's saying, look, my dear people of Guam, help me out here. Help me out to convince my colleagues that this is something that needs to be done. And granted, Therese Terlaje's bill, it's bill number 13, you know, there's a provision in it that I don't know makes much financial sense. So she has a provision. It's a PPP bill. It's a bill to that authorizes and it provides structure on how a public-private partnership is supposed to come about, so that we don't see. Basically, she knows. In my mind, what I'm thinking is Senator Therese Terlaje, who's been an avid critic of the administration, probably understands better than most that there's going to be a whole lot of opportunity for corruption because of certain people in the current administration, right? And so she structured this bill to be this, the procurement of this PPP is pretty much structured. There's a whole lot of transparency and all this stuff, right? But one of the things that she adds to it that I don't know makes much sense, and I'd wait to hear what the experts have to say about this, but just in my, elementary look at things, she provides all of these protections to Guam Memorial Hospital employees, like that this PPP can't interfere with, or can't take out employees. But if I were a private sector investor looking at Guam Memorial Hospital and understanding that not everybody there is necessary and that there have been political hires, I would not want such an inhibition to the proper management of Guam Memorial Hospital if I were to be the private partner in a PPP to come in and help to manage Guam Memorial Hospital. I wouldn't want, all these bad people who are just weighing everything down to be part of my operation. So I don't know that makes sense. But as for the rest of it, I mean, the senator makes a good point. Why not give this a try? So let me read you this letter. It's very well written too. She says, Håfa Adai, I write to the people of Guam in an earnest appeal to urge your senators to place Bill 13 and act relative to establishing a public-private partnership for Guam's public hospital onto the September session agenda for discussion and reconsideration by the body. After the bill failed to pass in third reading by just one vote during the May 2025 session, the public call for a change in GMH management structure has only grown stronger. Backed by healthcare experts, longtime public servants, both the governor and lieutenant governor, the private sector, hospital consultants, Dr. Eusebio, the current chief medical officer, Adjutant General and former GMH Medical Director Dr. Mike Cruz, and current and former GMH nurses and other personnel who also recognize the urgent need for a management shift that can be achieved through the resources, networks, and expertise of a public-private partnership. The fact remains that even without Bill 13, the governor and GMH management themselves off and on pursue their own versions of partial privatization of particular services or assets of GMH, but do it without stakeholder input. Oh gosh, I just realized we never FOIA'd GMH to see if they have any contracts with any of the scenarios. Mental note, Troy, to do that for you tomorrow. Continuing with Senator's responsibility or improvement, and without embracing the management shift recommended by previous task forces that can be truly held accountable and that will better guarantee the results we expect on our taxpayer investment. Similarly, GMH is also currently in the process of hiring yet another CEO without any publicly vetted parameters to guarantee improvement or success, and without any change in the management system that would bring additional resources or expertise. We no longer have the luxury of giving the benefit of the doubt that the current management structure will bring improvement despite good intentions. I think she's giving them too much credit to this part about good intentions. The current structure does not shield patient care from political interference. Pursuing a massive change, such as privatizing part or the whole operations of our only public hospital, cannot and should not be done unilaterally and behind closed doors, but instead should be transparent and include public input. I agree. The point of Bill 13 is to get the experts together, the people who have devoted their careers and lives to healthcare, along with agency leadership and other expert stakeholders, who can put their brains together to create a framework that a PPP should follow and that the legislature will commit to finance in order to ensure the hospital's success in patient care and an accountable management free from political changes. Okay. Wait, hold on. I have to check my... Hi, sorry about that. Okay, so sorry, I have to redo this stupid. I don't know what's wrong with this dumb camera. Hold on. Let's redo this camera. Okay, so this last point that she made, and I'm not done with the letter. Let me just. I want to go to this point that she's making about. She says, who can put their brains together to create a framework that a PPP should follow and that the legislature will commit to finance in order to ensure the hospital's success in patient care and an accountable management free from political changes. Okay. I think I could not agree more with Senator Therese Terlaje. But when she gets there and when she gets to this one point, I think she's dreaming a little. She says the legislature will commit to finance. I don't know that the legislature in any legislature over the past 20 some years, 30 years, has committed to finance what GMH has needed in order to sustain itself. And I'm not talking and to do the maintenance on the facility and to pay the vendors appropriately and to provide the patient care and all this stuff, right? Just like Department of Education, GMH has been one of those places where the senators talk a whole big game about it being their priority. It's a priority thing. It's one of the most important things to fund for the people of Guam. But when it comes to funding it, just like Department of Education, they don't fully fund it. So I don't know. I think Senator Terlaje maybe should just be speaking for herself and not her 14 other colleagues when she says this, because I don't know that I'm seeing a commitment from the legislature, from the 15 members. Because if there was such a commitment, why are we dealing with these extra budget issues after the budget was passed? Why wasn't this stuff addressed in the budget itself? GMH needs $40 million more. This number didn't just come up out of nowhere right after the budget was passed. It's not like GMH wasn't saying that they need help for months and months prior to the budget passing. Maybe they didn't provide the exact number to senators, but senators sure as heck knew that they needed to replace that electrical panel system. Sure as heck knew that the maternity ward still needs to be renovated. Sure as heck knew that there's an air conditioning system problem, there's a mold problem, and that millions upon millions of dollars would be needed above what the legislature has historically and currently provided to Guam Memorial Hospital. So when Senator Terlaje says, and that the legislature will commit to finance in order to ensure the hospital's success in patient care, I don't know. I don't know, Senator. I mean, it's nice to want that. I'm sure you're one of the people who wants to, because when Senator Terlaje was in charge of GMH when she had legislative oversight. Now, she didn't succeed in convincing her colleagues to agree with her, which is one of her weak points. One of Senator Terlaje's weak points is her inability to get her colleagues to agree with her. Basically, an inability to work with her colleagues, right? But she did try. She really did try to get GMH more money. In fact, it was $15 or $20 million. It's an appropriation from back in Untis Guantis. It's I want to say this is 2019, if I'm not mistaken, or 2019 or 2020, when she fought for and had the legislature pass a $15 or $20 million supplemental appropriation to GMH that GMH never saw. And all these years later, she's been asking about it. Where is this money? So that was one thing that she was able to succeed at least with convincing the rest of her colleagues to get on board with, additional funding for GMH. But when it got to the administration, that funding died. And so anyway, this idea of funding GMH sounds nice. For whatever reason, we have to convince our senators who told us that GMH is their priority to make GMH the priority. Moving on with the rest of her letter. So she says, in every budget process in the 9 years I have been a senator, it has been a fight to increase GMH appropriations above the governor's request and appropriations committee allocations. Often, as was the case this year, the legislature has had to pass supplemental bills for additional funds to GMH, citing dire emergency conditions. And if you ask me, a bunch of BS. Not on the part of the GMH conditions, on the part of senators not doing this during the budget. Continuing on. Yet we have also seen appropriations to GMH refused, not implemented, not spent, and in the case of ARP, taken back by the governor. Despite our differing opinions and perspectives, we should all agree that GMH needs help beyond funding. While an additional $40 million subsidy will provide the immediate cash infusion necessary to maintain services at GMH for one fiscal year, it does nothing to solve the underlying issues that keep us from moving forward and that threaten to impede the medical care and financial viability of our new hospital as well. It's like mopping up water without fixing the broken pipe. And with the limited resources the government has, we can't afford band-aid solutions that cost more in the long run. After years witnessing the hard work, dedication, and good intentions of those at GMH, I firmly believe a public-private partnership for overall management will help solve systemic and long-term challenges. However, before Guam's public hospital is privatized in whole or in part, it is incumbent upon us as the legislature, the lawmaking branch of government, to make policy that would ensure that the PPP framework is created by the experts and goes through a transparent, fair, competitive process with built-in accountability mechanisms so that our island and our taxpayers receive the best value. Let us do this together today in bipartisan cooperation by placing Bill 13 on the agenda without delay. Si Zuos Maasi, Therese M. Terlaje. I don't think she's asking for much. In fact, I think she's the only person who's putting forward a sensible solution. Is it flawed? Probably. They can make changes on the floor if they want to, if they are willing to accept that and to consider that this senator is one of the only ones putting up a solution, at least a partial solution. And she even says this is just a partial solution. This is part of what needs to be done in order to improve medical care on this island. And she lays it out in a very easy to understand, reasonable, rational way. I don't always agree with Senator Therese Terlaje, and I'm not a fan of her leadership when she was the speaker in the last legislature. But I'm going to call things like they are and give people credit where it's due. These senators, I think, would be doing all of us a favor if they listened to Senator Terlaje on this one. They should absolutely take up Bill 13. And not just Bill 13, but Parkinson's medical malpractice bill. They should take up the issue of the need to refurbish the maternity ward and provide whatever funding it is or do whatever is necessary to get that done. They should probably push for the reinstitution of the whole revenue cycling thing so that we can get more in our billings from the insurance companies and maybe one or two companies that have been screwing over historically the taxpayers of this island through their practices over the past couple of decades. There's so much here that needs to be done, and if only more senators were like Therese Terlaje in coming up with solutions, proposing them, even if they are flawed, asking that these solutions be brought to the floor so that they can be hashed out and a more perfect solution can be brought forward so that it's better for all of us. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. Thanks for being a part of this live cast tonight. I appreciate you as always. God bless you. I love you all, and good night.
You asked, we delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam AutoSpot, where the savings never stop.
Dare to try? Something new? Life's too short!
You gotta chill with a snackable drink.
Life is too short. Hey, you gotta chill.
Mogu Mogu.
Moku moku!
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.